Hello, I'm Afia Yana and welcome to your Rise and Shine yoga practice. Today's practice is focused on yoga for the solar plexus. The solar plexus is a bunch of nerves in the center of the abdomen. The known as also the Manipura chakra, or the center of our willpower. In as far as the organs that it corresponds with our diaphragm, the breathing muscle, with our spleen, with our pancreas, the liver, the adrenals, and the gallbladder as well. And as it is now officially spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a good time to do any type of strengthening and detoxifying processes, and practices, which are great for bringing blood flow, bringing awareness, and bringing strength and resolve to the center of our willpower. So that's what today's Kriya will be focused on. Kriya, or a bunch of exercises. So beginning, I invite you to bring your feet out in front of you. You can create a micro bend in the knees, grabbing a hold of the big toes, grabbing a hold of the shins, grabbing a hold of the back of the calves if that's accessible to you. It doesn't really matter how far apart the legs are. If your legs are only here, that's absolutely fine. And why we're keeping a micro bend in the back of the knees is to make sure that we have, don't put too much of a strain on the hamstrings, especially because there's been so much of the sitting that's been happening in the past year in particular. The hamstrings have just had this tendency probably to shorten if you do a lot of solitary sitting. So moving the flesh out from underneath the sit bones and reaching forward, grabbing down towards the big toes. If it's available, you can grab like a hook around the two fingers, middle and put your finger on the big toes and then hooking the thumb. And we'll do a Kriya here, deeply exhaling as we move forward, releasing the breath out of the mouth and any stagnation as we move forward. So beginning. Exhale forward, inhaling up. You could inhale and exhale out the nose here. Exhaling on the forward fold. And also really, you don't have to worry about the back being too straight here to begin with. You might even let go of the toes as you come up here. That micro bend in the knees is really going to help. And really what this is doing is beginning to compress the internal organs here on the forward fold. As we're exhaling the breath out of the nose, or exhaling it out of the mouth if that's accessible for you. Drawing the belly button back towards the spine. We're going to continue this movement for about 3 minutes here. So you'll notice as the body begins to be warmed up here, you'll be able to bend and stretch a little bit further, partially due to bringing some strength and a little bit more oxygenation into the belly, partially because through this repetitive movement, we're able to create a little bit of lubrication in the back of the lower lumbar spine here. And really just try to be gentle, not throwing the body, but gentle and yet at the same time mindful and controlled with the movement. Belly button back towards spine, elongating down towards the toes. That micro bend in the back of the knees. And noticing if at any point you'll feel the stretch in the back of the hamstrings, where the hamstrings insert into the lower bit of the pelvis bones, or pubic bones. About 30 more seconds here, you're doing great. You might increase and just go for keeping the feet on the toes or on the shins and just exhaling forward here in these last 30 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And then coming and sitting up in easy pose, the hand facing up in Gyan Mudra. So the thumb and the pointer finger are pointing. The thumb and the pointer finger are touching each other. The other fingers are pointing outwards. Inhaling, focusing, keeping the eyes closed, bringing the attention to the third eye, to the center of the brow point. Rotating the shoulders up and down and back. And bringing the awareness, simultaneously keeping the gaze focused, the eyes internally not wandering. Keeping the gaze focused on the third eye, and the awareness on the center of the belly. The center of the belly button, or even a few inches above that, in the solar plexus. And just noticing, using the power of observation to notice how the body is feeling. Is there any pulsing in the body, in the energy of the body? Are you feeling warm? Does the breath feel a little more open here? Just taking in that information, not trying to change anything, just using observation. Or maybe you notice some stiffness or constriction through other parts of the body. Not getting stuck in the story of that. Just using this breath and observation to center the willpower and center the focus of right action in the being as we continue in our practice today. So gently opening up the eyes and noticing that as we begin to waken up the Manipura chakra, we're able to direct our willpower and take action so that we're able to more consciously manifest our thoughts into reality. So these exercises, as we're going through them, you might just notice if the mind begins to wander, can you use the breath and use the focus of your willpower to bring it back, knowing that this is a concentrated practice and we won't be here forever. It's just a set amount of time. Okay, fantastic. So let's get on the back here. We are going to lay down with the legs up in the air, the arms up at a 90-degree angle, and we'll begin with a breath of fire. If you're familiar with the breath of fire, you can just go straight into it. Or if you would like a demonstration of the breath of fire is you could stick your tongue out your mouth as if you're a dog panting, and then think about the belly button coming back towards the spine. And noticing how the belly button draws back towards the spine, and you can physically see, you can place one hand on your belly to feel this exhalation, this gentle yet firm exhalation. So it's a light, quick, strong breath that draws the belly button back towards the spine on the exhalation as the diaphragm expands through the breath. So we inhale in, and you're just focusing on the exhalation. So let's try this. You can try it with the tongue out. We'll do about 10 breaths this way. And then we'll switch, if it's comfortable for you, switching to exhaling out of the nose so that you get the breath of the fire experience both ways. So let's try it first with the tongue out of the mouth. Sorry if you're laying on the floor. Come back up to sitting. We'll just do this together. So sticking the tongue out of the mouth and beginning as if you're making a small hole with your mouth. The tongue is pressed out of the mouth like a dog panting. And we'll do 10 breaths with the breath coming out through the tongue. Belly button back towards spine. Begin. Nice. You can close the eyes here and just focus on the sensation, noticing how this begins to create a bit of warmth in the center or the core of the being, as it also fires up the abdominal muscles, this whole giant transverse abdominis that runs from from the back of the bottom of the ribs all the way down to the back of the pelvis bone, wraps all the way around and underneath, and basically this whole sheath of muscles from the front to the back that holds in and supports all your internal organs. So this breath of fire is a very good breath to begin to detoxify the, like we said, the diaphragm or the breath muscle, and then also begin to tonify and bring some kind of gentle compression into the internal organs. So let's try this breath of fire one more time. And this time we'll try it for 30 seconds with the nose, breathing out the nose only. And so you'll notice you can do it at your own pace, but you might just find that you'll get into a rhythm that is quick enough that you are exhaling out of the nose without feeling like you're hyperventilating, like you need to breathe in through the mouth. So breathing out of the nose only, we begin. Belly button back towards spine. And close the eyes here. Be really aware of that sensation as the pelvis floor pulls up. Almost like the chugging of a train. Ten more seconds here. Fantastic. And then closing the eyes, palms facing up, thumb, pointer finger touching each other in the Gyan Mudra. Feeling this energy as it's rotating and circulating around the palm of the hand, up the arms into the heart space. And feeling that warmth and feeling that heat in the energetic center, the core of the being. Great. Gently opening up the eyes. We're going to take that again onto lying on the floor, and we'll do the breath of the fire this time by lying down, shoulders up, tucked down and back, hands up at a 90-degree angle, feet up at a 90-degree angle, pointing both the hands and the feet up towards the sky. And then we will do about 3 minutes here of this breath of fire so that we are able to really keep up with and stoke this digestive fire and this detoxifying fire in the body. If you'd like more, at some point you could lift the head up off of the ground, but make sure that the chin is gently lifted so the chin isn't tucking the chest. But beginning with the chin on the floor here, and we will start now. Nice and straight through the arms, straight through the legs. Using this exhalation through the nose, bringing the belly button back towards the spine. Keep up with the breath and really bringing that belly button back towards the spine. You can feel it pumping into the floor. As the diaphragm lifts up on the exhalation. Active through the hands, active through the feet. You're doing great. 1 minute down. Notice if you have a problem with your willpower from time to time, if you feel like sometimes you can't get your get up and go in the same place, or if you feel like your get up and go got up and went, this is a really great exercise for focusing that power in the center of your being. You might speed up if that feels good for you. Noticing if the legs are beginning to be fatigued, pointing the toes, energizing, bringing strength into the legs, into the arms, making the legs and arms as straight as possible. "30 more seconds here, you're doing great. "10 more seconds. Make them your best 10. Fantastic. Lowering the arms down to the floor really slowly as you lower the legs down to the floor. Don't drop the legs, using them equal strength to release the legs down and the arms down. Beautiful. And then just lying here in Shavasana, the arms a few inches out from the body, feet turned up, pointing up towards the corner of the room, feet hip-width distance apart. And notice if you can identify the beating of your heart. Taking nice, deep, even breaths. Seeing how quickly can you bring the breath, bring the heart rate back down to a normal rate. Inviting in the fullness of the breath. Allowing the benefits of this posture that we just completed to wash over the entire being. Beautiful. You have 30 seconds more here, so just noticing. Maybe you can even identify the beating of the heart almost in the abdomen. Calling in this focused willpower, this focus into the breath, into the body. Ten more seconds here. Fantastic. And then when you're ready, lifting the legs up to a 60-degree angle this time, and lifting the arms up to a 60-degree angle. And here, we will begin the breath of fire, but this time only for 90 seconds. If you feel like you'd like a little bit more here, you can engage the belly button, pressing it into the ground, lifting the head and the neck off of the floor, the chin lifted so that there's space between the heart and the chest, and we will begin now. Exhaling through the nose in breath of fire. Straight arms, straight feet. You can even press the feet together so the big toes and the heels are touching. Keep up. If you have a goal that you're calling into your life right now, think of that goal. Draw it into your willpower, draw it into the center of your will, into your manipura, and exhaling forcefully out the nostrils here. The last 30 seconds. Ten more. Five more seconds. And then releasing, letting the legs hang in Shavasana, the arms laying in Shavasana. We'll take a 30-second break here, inhaling in through the nose. Perhaps sighing out the mouth, a breath of relief. Releasing and letting go. Drawing in this clearing that we're doing into the physical body, detoxifying the internal organs, and then even using this powered up time, this focused power of clearing out with this breath of fire, clearing any obstacles out of your way, out of your mental, spiritual, or emotional life as well. Harnessing that breath into the center of your being. Noticing if you're holding any tension in the head, neck, jaw, releasing that. Taking one more breath in here. Letting go. Relaxing and releasing. Fantastic. Rolling over onto the belly. We will come into a Sphinx pose here. Rotating the shoulders up and down and back, the palms pressed into the ground evenly, lifting the chin so that it's parallel to the floor here. And then here, lifting the knees so that they're coming, the knees to a 90-degree angle, making sure that you can even widen the legs here if you're feeling any compression in your lower back. You can bring the big toes together here. And we're going to take the breath of fire in the Sphinx pose with the knees bent, pressing into the elbows, chin parallel to the ground, for about 30 seconds here. Begin. And here you really feel the belly pressing back towards the spine with the exhalation as the belly is engaging back towards the belly button, towards the spine. You'll notice that if you ate even within 2 or 3 hours of the practice, it's natural that belching might happen. You might be releasing air out of the digestive tract. That's perfectly normal. Just keeping with this fierce, light, quick exhalation of the belly button back towards the spine. 10 more seconds here. Beautiful. Releasing the feet down. Releasing, pressing up into a tabletop position here. And we are going to engage now, bringing the right arm, pressing the left hand into the ground, the right hand up as if you're shaking someone's hand in front of you. Breathing into the belly button back towards spine. You might even tuck your right toes under And then the opposite, lifting the left toe back up into the air. Inhaling here. Belly button back towards spine. Nice and strong. Make sure that you're not collapsing in the shoulders. Firing up the willpower. Allowing those abdominal, the transverse abdominal muscles to lift around, pulling up the diaphragm, pulling up those digestive muscles in the digestive cord, the internal organs. Focused awareness in the breath here. You might even point the toe, then flex the toe here. Point the toe, then flex the toe here. And then for a little bit more, bringing the right arm out at a diagonal, left leg out at a diagonal, then bringing it back to the midline. Exhaling the leg out, diagonal, inhale back to the center. Exhale out to diagonal, inhale back to center. Supporting the lower belly with the spine. Inhaling out, exhaling back to center. And one more inhale out, diagonal, exhale back to center. Drawing the right arm, bringing it back down. Bringing the left leg back down. And then bringing the toes together, knees wide apart, and coming down into child's pose here. Head reaches out onto the ground. Forehead touches the ground. You can reach the hands out in front of you for a little release through the shoulder girdle. Breathing into the abdominal cord here. Seeing how quickly can you release, relax, and let go. Releasing any tension in the shoulder, in the neck, in the jaw. The lower back, the feet. Fantastic. One more breath here. And then walking the hands up, coming back to your tabletop position. Feet parallel, knees parallel, hands parallel to one another, making sure that thumb and pointer finger are pointing forward and really grounding into the right palm. You might even move it a little bit closer into the midline of your body. And then inhaling the left arm up as if you're shaking someone's hand in front of you, and then lifting the right toe back as if you're shaking someone's hand in front of you. Pressing the top of the left foot into the ground. It's going to stabilize you even more here. Inhaling and exhaling, belly button towards spine. Lifting up on the glute here. On the exhalation, noticing how the belly button draws back towards the spine. Using this power of the will, even though you might be a little bit shaky here, just noticing if the mind has a tendency to give up on itself, to say, oh, I can't do this, or this is hard, or this is challenging, using an affirmation here, I am strong. Extending into using your mind and your thought to invigorate your body and your willpower. And then bringing the leg out to a diagonal, arm out to a diagonal. Exhaling out, inhale back to center. Exhaling out to diagonal, inhale back to center. Exhale out to diagonal. Right leg moves to right corner, left arm to left corner, back to center. Exhale out, diagonal. Inhale back center. Exhale diagonal. Inhale center. Nice and strong through the arm. Exhale diagonal. Inhale center. Exhale diagonal. Inhale center. Two more. Exhale diagonal. Inhale center. Exhale diagonal. Inhale center. I am strong, lifting up and then dropping the hand down, dropping the knee down, toes come together, knees wide apart. And this time, drawing the hands back. You might even keep the knees together here and in a little child's pose or balasana.
So if you are bringing the arms back towards your side, the knees are together, the feet are together, the head comes down, and rest towards the floor. Releasing the head and the neck and the jaw. Breathing into the back body. You might even rock from the right side to the left side. From the right hip to the left hip. Releasing any tension that may have crept into those hip flexors. Releasing the palms up towards the sky. And as you're in this child's pose, also lifting up on the pelvic floor to tone and tonify the internal organs. The digestive organs as well. Noticing how quickly can you return to the heartbeat slowing down, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. Identifying the beating of the heart here. That gentle, continual throbbing of the heart. In its commitment to fortifying the will to live. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds to just really see how far can you let yourself go, release, and relax. Beautiful. And on your next inhalation, moving the arms forward, pressing them into the ground.
Gently pushing yourself back up to sitting. We'll come to one final breath practice, a pranayama practice, which is really great for the digestive tract as well, and for the willpower. We will come to a sitali breath. It is a cooling breath. So from any heat that may have been generated through the practices, this is a good way to tonify the digestive system, as well as bring some cooling in to, especially one of the imbalances that might happen if the willpower center or the manipura chakra is out of balance, is there can be a tendency towards being controlling, towards being hot-tempered, or being quick to anger. So this is really great practice if you ever find yourself in that situation at work, in life, with your family, in your partnership. So this is a really good way to bring that cooling sense back into the body. So again, we'll make a little tiny O shape with the mouth, and then we'll stick the tongue out and make it into a little, a little roll. So some people can do this genetically, some people are not so able to do this. So if you happen to be one of the people who can't necessarily turn the tongue into a little rolled up bit, you can also just stick the tongue out of your mouth, out through the small O-shaped hole in your mouth. And we'll begin by closing the eyes, sticking the tongue out in its tube out of the mouth, and then you'll inhale in through the tube in the mouth, Sipping the air in, feeling the cooling effect into the back of the throat, and then exhaling out the nostrils. So inhaling in, through the tube, exhale out the nostrils. Nice and tall, erect in the spine, inhale in, through the tube, exhale out the nostrils. Back of the hands up towards the sky. You might open up both palms, or using the Gyan Mudra again, the thumb and forefinger pressed together, and continuing with the breath. Inhale in through the tube, sipping the air in, exhaling out the nostrils. Sipping your deep, full breath in. Feeling the air as it enters the back of the throat, and then exhaling out the nostrils. Sipping the air in. Exhaling out the nostrils, feeling the breath leaving the warmth of the breath. Inhale, feeling the cooling as it enters the lungs, exhaling out the nostrils. So even if you experience acid indigestion or anything like this is a really great breath for that. This is also a great breath if you're in very hot weather and there isn't air conditioning and you feel like you need to cool down. Sipping in through the tongue. Exhaling out the nostrils, belly button to spine. Inhale in the tube of the breath. Exhale, releasing, keeping that focus on the third eye, on the center of the brow. Again, inhaling in. Exhaling out. And if there's something that has you feeling heated, as you inhale and feeling that cool and that calm coming into the body, into the brain. Exhaling out the nostrils. And one more inhalation here, the final one. Sipping up, filling, exhaling, releasing. And then placing the hand, one hand on the heart, one hand in the center of the belly. Returning to the natural breath. And with a gentle upward corners of the mouth, perhaps in the mudra known as an inner smile. It might manifest as an outer smile. You can bring some of this detoxifying and rejuvenating energy to your internal organs, to your diaphragm, which works so hard with the breath of fire, to your liver, digestive organs, gallbladder, spleen, and adrenals. To the pancreas, feeling the warmth and the heat of the hands. Sending this good energy into your strong body. And taking this moment to give thanks for the strength of your body, for the willpower that you have. And placing both hands in front of the heart and gently bowing the chin towards the chest, giving thanks to your ancestors and to your inner teacher, to your inner knowing that brings you to this place of healing today, and that we might use this right heart-centered action to move this sense of willpower outwards into our lives to create confidently in our lives. Namaste and Ashe.